Well, good morning on this cloudy Winnipeg morning. Anyway, last night, I think it was probably the first time that I had to sort of force myself to read the little sign. Like one, I've got, I think there's 3 or 4 little signs in the back of my spray booth. I'll dub it in. Anyway, the one about make no changes, how does it go? I can sort of see it over there. Make no changes in the evening when feeling tired or depressed that can't be changed back in the morning after having a good rest. Or something like that. I could only read part of it from this perspective. Spray booth is way over there. Yeah, further than arm's reach. Anyway, yeah, I sat down here at the model table last night, and I just sat here for about half an hour and did nothing. Oh, maybe I'd pick up a sanding stick and drop it in Jeff's cup or something like that, but I mean, I did nothing on the model. And I was sort of feeling, I don't think I was feeling depressed, I was sort of feeling like I didn't know what to do next. It was that sort of feeling, like, what do I do next, you know? And then to make matters worse, I went and I read my comments and I realized that I'd made a mistake here. Like right there where I soldered these two together. They weren't supposed to be soldered together like this. They were supposed to be folded back. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything about that or not now. Yeah, it was supposed to be folded back and fastened to a little protrusion on the mast there. I will probably talk about that later today, if I'm going to do anything about it. But as you can see, I've got the mast fastened up onto this part here. So it's going to be pretty awkward to not bust something off. So I might just be leaving it. Anyway, I think enough talk here. Well, the sunrise was nice, though, wasn't it? Okay. Let's just sort of carry on. It's morning. I've had a good rest. I've had a real good rest. I must have had about 8 hours sleep last night. I sort of slept in, you might say, at least sleeping in for me. Okay, let's just sort of roll back and see how it is that I got to this place. At the end of the last episode, I was saying that I didn't think that I had accidentally cut off the peg that was supposed to go through the hole of this little part down here. But now, looking at it closely and getting the light just right, I think maybe I did. I got to put the macro lens on anyway to show this being put on, so I'll show you what I'm looking at now that looks like the remnants of the peg that I cut off. At first I thought it was flashing, but it's not. Well, it's flashing as well. Anyway, as I mentioned in yesterday's episode, I think that we're going to be okay. Lots of little tiny parts. I'm enjoying this though, really. If I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't be doing it. Okay, we are looking at the very bottom of this now. And if you look closely, you can see what appears to be what's left of where the peg came out of right there. And I cut it off. And then I even sanded it down just a little bit. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I cut the peg off. Now, I've beat this to death, haven't I? Let's just see if we can, glue it in place here. Okay, I don't know if this is going to help or not, but I've got some isopropyl here. Remember I was talking about how I was finding that the CA glue was sort of beading on top of the photo etch. So I'm just going to kind of scrub it off here. I don't know if this is going to, like I said, I don't know if this is going to help or not. It may not. Okay, now I'll try and wick off the excess here. Alright, we'll let that dry and then we'll try and put our little part on. Okay, here we go again with the extra thin. Well, I don't know where it went. Did I get any even on there? I don't see it anymore. Okay, there I do now. No, I think this is supposed to have the detail facing forward. Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, I'm going to have to recompose. I'm sorry. I am so sorry here. This is probably going to glue like that. What a catastrophe. It sure would have been nice if I had not have cut that peg off, because I could have used it. Well, I think we got away with it. We've lost a little bit of the detail, I think, in the front, but this is detail that no one's going to see anyway. Now, I just went through Carlo's book of drawings to see if I could find anything that was, even close to what we just put on here, and this little box. And I couldn't find anything. I can find this part, and I can find this part, but I couldn't find anything on this. So it maybe was an afterthought on Rodney's part, or maybe on Trumpeter's part. Who knows? Anyway, yeah. After all, it's supposed to be a model, but on the other hand, you kind of wonder sometimes. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, now I know what I was going to say. A couple of viewers were quite vehement, you might say, in that I was forgetting to put a part on, or forgetting something here. And I can't see anything that I haven't put together. So maybe if you want to re-comment and just tell me what it is that you're talking about, especially if you can give me a part number. That really helps. On the other hand, it could be that you didn't realize I wasn't finished here with step 25. Maybe I said something to the effect of, we are now done step 25, when actually I meant we were sort of done. Anyway, this piece here, in order to complete this module. Now, to complete this module, for step 25, we also have to put on this this mast, and I don't know if I want to do that right now, because it is so easily going to be broken off. But I do believe that this piece we can put on very, very carefully, very carefully. Okay, now it's got to face that way. It should just fit right up on top there, and I think that when we spray it, when we spray this thing, the spray will get in all the way around. Like I don't need to paint these two parts separately. I think it can all be held, and the spray should get everywhere. At least that's the plan. I think I'll just use the quick setting right there. Yeah, I'll just recompose here. Okay, so keeping with perspective here, remember when we made all this up, and this part is going to go on here, and then this last module that we just made, maybe I should take this off of here before I break it. Okay, so this goes on here, but I've run into something that is kind of, you might say, puzzling, and this, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to fit in there. Yeah, there it goes. It was just a tight fit. Now this part here is supposed to fit right on there. So this is going to go down like this. But I want to show you something. Okay, so if that goes like that. Oh, okay. I had thought that possibly there was supposed to be a mast or something to go in here, and maybe Trumpeter has made a mistake here, and that because they clearly show that this piece here goes down and plugs into that hole just inside that railing. But then what's this for? I think I better page ahead and find out what this is for. It could be that I'm reading this wrong, but I don't think so. Okay, just bear with me here. Okay, not to worry. We had it right the first time. Because when we flip over to page 27, which we are probably going to be doing maybe even in this episode, I'm not sure yet, it clearly shows where this mast drops down right here. Okay, but it doesn't show, like this piece right here. Isn't that the one that we just put on? Or is this a different one? Okay, this piece. Oh, I see what's happening. This piece and this piece are the same. It's just that here it shows it flipped over, and we have to put gussets here. Okay, I was wondering. Okay, now it makes sense. I still haven't seen what it is that goes in this hole here, though. All right, you can't see it, right? This hole. Okay, let's move on. Okay, I did find what goes in this hole right here. An F1. I'm pretty sure we made it up already. Now, I know I had said I was going to use the quick setting, but I think I'll just use the extra thin here. Give me a little bit more time. Grab this a little bit differently, maybe. I don't have that much time. Come on, Ron. Put a little pressure there. Just going to look straight down. I don't want to make sure that it's aimed straight ahead here. Yeah, it more or less is. It's maybe could swing a little bit to the right. Not much though. Okay, we're going to let that cure or dry. It should be a good tight fit. Okay. I think it looks like the helping hands are clamped onto the mast to hold it up, but they're not. It's just sort of leaning against it. I think it's probably safe to remove that now. In fact, I'm sure it is. It's probably a couple hours ago that I took the CA
or not the CA, but the Tamiya extra thin here, and I glued the base of the mast down on the platform where that hole was, and I was realizing that it was just extremely wobbly. It just wasn't. I knew it was going to break off. In other words, so then I took the medium, and the mast is very very close to the back. With this little room here that has the door on it that you probably can't see. And so what I did was I let some CA medium run down between the mast and the wall there, and it's sort of you might say well, it's stuck between the two, so it's glued on there fairly strong now. Now this is going to be the first time I've touched it since I glued it on. Yeah, you can see that the mast, yes, the mast is bending, but it's bending up here. It's not bending down there where it's fastened in. So I think if I'm careful, it's not going to be falling off all by itself. And then after I got the CA medium on there, I did put a little tiny drop of the Instaset here to help it start curing right away, because the CA was built up quite thick. Okay, I'm starting to ramble here. What do we got here? 8:27. No wonder I'm rambling. I'm probably sound more like I'm going beep, 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 beep. Anyway, yeah, I'm getting tired, and I am sober. Okay, I think we're going to call it quits here for this evening, and yeah, we'll see you in the morning. Well, it is morning. And looking at it now, I can see that these two were not supposed to be fastened together. I don't know why I didn't catch that. Somehow I thought they were supposed to be, well, soldered together. And I was I think it was yesterday, last night, I was watching UK Jason, one of his most recent episodes, and he said something to the effect of that he will often have 3 or 4 projects, like I guess model builds, going on at the same time. And like right now, for instance, I'm sort of like, what do I do now? And that back room that I've got that the deep freeze is in, and I've been talking about putting up another model table there, and I thought of really getting really fancy and having a table go all around the room, sort of thing, like along the outside walls. But I think even if I just had one single table under the window that I can open up, like there's a window right there, and I can have the paint booth on that, and it'd be just ideal for venting the paint spray fumes out, at least in the summertime. Yeah, when it's -40, I don't know if I want to be sucking in -40 air, but because the air that you force out of your house from the spray booth, well, it has to be replaced with something, right? Well, the only thing you got is the outside -40. Well, it doesn't get -40 every day, but it sort of seems like it does. Anyway, I've sort of rambled on here enough. Like what am I going to do here now? Am I going to take my soldering iron and just remelt that and attach these over? Am I going to try to do it, or is it now, because this is so delicate, that I'm going to end up breaking it? Should I just leave it? Nobody's going to know, except that every time I look at it, I'm going to know. I think that I probably could, take a tweezer, and after these were separated, and just very carefully bend it back. I think I could do it. Don't know if I could do it on camera or not, and that's a lot of the fun for me. Anyway, yeah, back to the back room. I think I'm going to start working on that and just put up another table in the back there and get something going. Maybe open up the Iowa box, and if nothing else, look at the sprues. I don't know. Another thing I've noticed that when I do my editing, I find that there is a lot of nervous laughter. I'll say something and then I'll laugh. It's nerves, and I find it kind of annoying. But hey, that's what I do. But what am I going to do here? Okay, I think I'm going to give this a try. I'm going to try and separate my soldering and redo this. Now, as you can see here, this is very fragile. And my plan is to reinforce it using a series of clamps and what have you. Now, I haven't done this yet, so you're going to see it live as it's happening. And oh, yeah, there you go. That's so easy it is to have a little accident. I wasn't looking here. I was looking here, and I caught that. And that's how these things happen. Another thing that I do a lot is I will bump something. I will go to reach across for something, and I will bump, like say, for instance, the little vise here. Well, if I don't fasten this vise down, so I went down to my workshop a few minutes ago, and I got a piece of wood, and the first piece that I grabbed here, I have a tendency to really get off the subject, but I just got to tell you about this, is this piece right here. You may take a look at this and you might think, what an awful piece of wood, why would you keep that? Well, if you turn pens, you will realize that this will have sort of a burl effect, and even though it is all cracked and punky and so on, I can take a piece of wood like this, and if I was to cut it, this way and this way, and end up with a piece about 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch, and maybe about that long, and then I would take and I would do a combination of a vacuum chamber and a pressure pot, and I would infuse liquid rosin in there, which would cure overnight. And then when you turn it down, especially if the rosin was, say, white or something like that, well, you know what? I'll try and find one of my pens that I did like that. It's in my pen bowl, which is behind me in the cupboard. Anyway, if I think of it, I'll show it to you later at the end of this episode. What you can do with wood like that looks terrible, but it actually is beautiful. Well, beautiful if you like wood. Yeah. I can't remember where I got that. Could this be one of the pieces that a fellow by the name of Walt sent me from way down in the way down in the southern United States? A fellow by the name of Walt. I haven't got a comment from Walt for a long time. Well, I guess he's not into modeling. He was watching me when I was doing wood turning. Anyway, okay, why did I get this? Well, this is why I got it. Okay, now let's be very, very careful here. Let's maybe move this up out of the way a little bit here. And the idea is I want to have this vise so that it is not going to be okay. Okay, the idea is so that if I can fasten this down in such a way that if I bump it, it's not going to move, or at least not very much. Okay, now am I going to be able to tighten this up here? I'm just going to recompose here, and then you'll see what I'm trying to do. There, now I can tighten this up. Okay, so that makes this a little bit more solid. Now if we put this in like this, okay, now let's recompose again. But you notice that if I bump this, it's not going anywhere. That's the whole idea of this contraption. Now I am still going to have to be extremely cautious here. Putting a little bit of unwanted twist on it, but it is supporting it. Now you notice that I'm moving this part down here, but this is staying stable. Now the idea is that when I go to try and bend that, I believe it's called, somebody called it a bow tie, or that Y-shaped piece. Well, first let's just separate this, and then we'll just sort of talk about it as it's happening. As I said, this could be, at the end of today's episode, will be the second major mistake I made. Okay. Wonder, sort of reach around here, and is there any way I can... I just want to just grab onto it. The fact that it is rotating it a little bit this way, you know, that's not too serious. Okay, I'm thinking out loud again. Okay, my plan here is to video as much of this as I can, just for the fun of it. So, okay, so that's about as hot as it's going to get. And we'll move you in here. Now the idea is I'm just going to separate this and see if... Oh, I don't want to be getting too close to that plastic because the radiant heat will actually melt it. So I just want to sort of quickly go in here. And try and clean this off. There, okay. Now later we're going to be... I was going to use a soldering iron to poke. That might not be a good thing on the plastic. Okay, let me just recompose here. Let's stick the macro lens on. Well, in all likelihood, you can hear the music playing. You know what that means, right? And we did not put on the macro lens. But we will in the next episode. Yeah, I want to get out the back room there and see if I maybe can't get a start on setting up a second model table. I like Jason's idea of having more than one project going at the same time. I don't know how it's going to go. We'll just have to see. I don't know if I'm going to make a table or if I'm going to buy a table. I'm getting to the place now where
don't want to be wasting a lot of time making stuff if I can go out and buy something for maybe that'll be just as good and it's not going to cost me. See, when I go to start making something, I usually go way overboard. Sort of like this thing. It's overboard. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll be seeing you tomorrow.